Hi crocheters of the world, I'm Wana and this is Wana's Crochet channel on YouTube, and in this tutorial we will work together on this slouch beret in Tunisian crochet technique. It's really easy, really nice, and it looks like it is knitted. So actually I was inspired by a knitted beret that I see on the internet, and I just wanted to make something that is more or less the same, and this is what I have. It's really nice, really easy to work, so I let you to the tutorial. So to work this slouch beret we will need, of course, yarn and a Tunisian crochet hook. Now the yarn that I'm using here, so it's a medium worsted weight yarn, it's Red Heart Lisa, and for anything, any item that you want to work with the Tunisian crochet technique, you will need a larger hook than the hook reported on the label. So here I have 4 to 4.5 millimeters hook. So from 4.5 I will add 1 measure or 2 measures more. So I am working actually with a 5.5 millimeters Tunisian crochet hook. Okay, so you can work it with a 6.5 if you work very tight. Now to begin the beret, we will begin, it's a bottom-up beret, so we will begin with a chain that is the right size of the circumference of our head. I put here 68 chains, and this is perfect for my head. Now we will begin the first row. We want to pull up loops, but on the wrong side of our chain we have this popping up here loop in the middle. Okay, so it's here that we want to work our first row. So insert the hook into that loop and pull up a loop, and we want to pull up loops in each, of course, of our chain, and we will have a total of 68. I will be 68 loops on my hook. So I have all the loops on my Tunisian crochet hook, and now second step. So each of our row in Tunisian crochet technique, it's made by 2 steps. One is working the loops. So as actually gather the loops on our Tunisian crochet hook. Second is working the loops. Now to work the loop, for the first row we will just want to yarn over and pull through 1, and then till the end we will yarn over and pull through 2. So we will just go on like this, yarn over, pull through 2 loops till the end. Only for the first stitch we will yarn over and pull through 1. Okay, so now I just want to work my very first row, and then I will be back to show you how to work your border. So I finished my first row, and now I want to begin with the border. For the border we will work a purl stitch, so a Tunisian knit stitch, a Tunisian purl stitch, and we will go on like this until the end. We don't work the first because we already have it on the hook, and we will work as a knit stitch the last one. Okay, and I will show you how we will work the last one. Now let us begin. So I said a knit stitch, so I insert the hook around the vertical bar and in between the stitches on the back side, then I pull up a loop like this. Now for the purl stitch we pull the yarn on the front with the hook, as you can see. We insert the hook around the vertical bar and we let the yarn under the vertical bar. We keep it with our finger, yarn over and work your stitch. Now again, for the knit stitch, insert the hook around the vertical bar and in between the stitches through the back. Now pull up a loop. So we actually work this stitch in between the two vertical bars of the stitch. We have a vertical bar on the front side and another vertical bar on the back side. Okay, and this is the knit stitch. Now for the purl stitch, again, pull the yarn, so actually put it on your hook and pull it on the front side. Okay, now insert the hook around the vertical bar and let the yarn under the hook like this. Keep it with your finger, yarn over and pull through the vertical bar and work your stitch. For the knit stitch, insert the hook around the vertical bar in between the stitches to the back, pull up a loop. For the purl stitch, with your hook, pull the yarn through the front, insert the hook around the vertical bar and let the yarn under the hook like this. Keep it with your finger, yarn over and pull up a loop. Okay, and this is how we have to go on to the end of this row. I almost finished the row, but I just want to show you the last, my second to last stitch is a purl stitch, so I will purl like this, and the last stitch we will always work it as a knit stitch, but inserting the hook through 2 loops, so we must have 2 loops and pull up a loop. Now to go back and to work all the stitches, we already know that we yarn over, pull through 1 loop for the first time and then always through 2 loops. So yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, and we just want to go on like this. Now for the next 2 rows we will work exactly the same thing. So we will work knit stitch where we have the knit stitch and yes, it's here. So knit stitch where we have the knit stitch and purl stitch where we have the purl stitch. 1 knit, 1 purl. It's really easy to see the stitches. As you can see, this is knit, this is purl. We have this popping up little horizontal loop here and this is the purl stitch. So knit, purl, and we go on like this for 2 more rows. I finished the border, the 3 rows for the border, and now I want to work 2 more rows with the knit, so only the knit stitch, which means the first one we don't want to work it and we just go on and knit all the stitches. So 2 rows with knit stitch and then we will work only the pattern stitch. I will be back to show you. It's really easy, but for now just knit for 2 rows. I finished my 2 rows, knit rows, and this is what I have. From here, for the length that we want for our slouch beret, we will go on in pattern stitch like this. 2 rows of purl stitch and 4 rows of knit stitch. So now I will begin with 2 rows of purl stitch and then 4 rows of knit stitch and then again 2 rows of purl stitch and 4 rows of knit stitch until the length that we want for our slouch beret. I will be back when I finish my length to show you how to decrease. Now I finished the length of my slouch beret and I worked these sequences of 6, so 2 purl stitches, 2 rows of purl stitch and 4 rows of knit stitch for 6 times, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and I work 2 more purl stitches and I have 22 centimeters of length. So I stopped here and now I want to put my decreases. So to begin actually the decreases part, we have to think of our stitches, total number of stitches, in half. So I have 68 and half of this is 34. Now again, 34 we think of it in half, which is 17. Okay, we need to count 17 and to put a marker in between the stitches. Then 34 and we put a marker in between the stitches, and here we have 17 more. Okay, and now we will work our decreases into the return step of our work. So we will work the stitches as they are into this row, sorry. And here we work the pattern as it is. So I work 2 rounds or 2 rows of purl. So now I have to work 4 rows of knit stitch. So I will just go on and work the stitches as they are until the end. And when I turn back working the stitches that I am gathering here on my Tunisian crochet hook, I will decrease 2. So let me finish this knit row. I just want to show you how to put the marker. So the marker in this case, okay, here I have my first 17. Now I will take off the marker and I will just put it here on the hook, and I will work, oops, don't lose it. And yes, this is already worked. I will continue on working my stitches, and I will do the same thing with my marker on the other side. Okay, and now I will begin to work the stitches. So yarn over, pull through 1, and yarn over, pull through 2, and pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2, until you reach the last 2 stitches before the marker. Pull through 2, 2, 2, and we just want to continue on. Yes, one more, and now I have my last 2 stitches before the marker, and now I will pull through 3. Okay, so yarn over, and instead of pull through 2, I will pull through 3, and this is my first decrease made. Now you can take off your marker and work your decrease. So this is the first decrease, and before after the marker you have to work 1 more. So now again yarn over and pull through 1, 2 and 3. Let's do it. And this is my second decrease. I will put the marker in between the 2 decreases just to keep tracking of mine, and I go on like this. So 1 decrease before the marker, 1 decrease after the marker, and it's like this that you have to go on for a total of 14 stitches, of 14 rows, sorry, not stitches. So 12 to 14, sorry, depends on how many stitches you have. And so here I have my first 2 decreases. Can you see them? Okay. Then I will work my second row and I will decrease again into the second step. So this is how you have to decrease, and it's exactly the same thing for the knit stitch and for the purl stitch, because it's yes, exactly the same that you work them into the second step. Okay, let me finish the decreases, and actually I will work, I think, 12 rows, but I will be back to show you and to tell you how many rows I worked and how many rows you have to work actually. One more thing, when we begin another row, as I did here, I began my second row with the knit stitch, and here it is my decrease. Now when we are at the decrease, we don't want to work the stitches one by one but both, okay? Please do it like this, because if we don't, so like this, if we don't, we actually put the stitches as they are, so we finish by having the same number of stitches, and we actually don't want. So in the second step we decrease, and in the first step of the next row we work the stitches as they are, so it's exactly the same thing, we have exactly the same number of stitches. So work them like this. Now I will put again the marker on my crochet hook, and I have here my decrease, so I work them both together like this, okay? So what I did here, oops, yes, these two, 1 and 2, so I just want to work them like this. Okay, this is very important. Then we go on. This is very important because if you don't work like this, as I said, we will have exactly the same number of stitches. So we decrease, but then we work them as they are, and we actually don't decrease at the end. Okay, I will go on like this for 10 to 12, actually 12 rows, and then I will be back to show you what I have. So I just want to show you I finished my 5th row. So I worked 4 in knit stitch and 1 in purl stitch, and this is what I have. Now I don't need any more markers because I just can see where I have to decrease, and if you have something like this, it's just perfect, because this will be actually the final shape, so it's just perfect, okay? And you have to continue on. Now another thing, I wrote down here my stitches as I have to decrease them. So into the first, from the 34 in the middle, I had 32, and for 17 on one side and the other I had 16. In the next 30 and 50, in the next 28 and 40, in the next 26 and 13, and into the 5th, this one, 24 and 12. So now where I will work my row, the purl stitch row, and then when I come back I know that I must have 11 from 12 I must have 11, so I will work my decrease exactly into the same thing, so into the same space. So it's really easy to keep tracking your decreases even if you work without marker. Now another very important thing is while you work this, actually I will work 10 rows, so I will have 28, sorry, because it's 7 plus 7, 14 plus 14 are 28. Maybe I will go on, I don't know, some more stitches, depends on how you want the shape to be, okay, of the crown. Now you just get the idea, and just try to work them in one without put aside the work, okay? So you can keep tracking your decreases. It's really easy like this, and actually you even don't need the markers, as you can see. I don't need though. Okay, so now I just want to continue on, and I will be back to show you how to finish your hat. So I finished the length, the decreases part actually. I went on until I had here 16 stitches plus 8 plus 8, so 16 and 16, okay, for 9 rows. of decrease. So 4 rows of knit stitch, 2 rows of purl stitch, and 3 more rows of knit stitch. And now what I want to do is to cast off or to bind off the stitches. So I will work the knit stitch, knit stitch and slip stitch, and slip stitch, and into the next the same thing, knit stitch and then slip stitch and knit and slip stitch, and I go on like this all around to finish this row. I finished this row and I cut a longer yarn, and now with this yarn we will go on with the mattress stitch. I will add the link below. I worked another Tunisian crochet beret with, and I close it with this stitch. So insert the hook into the stitch and then go out into the next stitch. Okay, now the same thing on the other side, insert the hook into one stitch and go into the next, and then where we got out, we insert the hook and then into the next stitch we go out, and the same thing on the other side, like this, like this, and like this. And from time to time we will pull the yarn. So I am here, just want to pull the yarn, okay, like this, and I will just want to continue on. So it's from here that I came out, one, and then from here I go on like this, until the end. You must be very, very attentive because we have the pattern, and the pattern must be exactly perfect fit. So I finished it, and this is what I have. It's just perfect. Now all that I have to do is to sew here into these stitches. So I will put it upside down and I will work it. I will sew these two parts together. Just be sure you are into these stitches. So I insert the hook into my first one and try to make a little knot, and now these are the stitches. Let me just show you. They are here, 1 and 1, and again just watch, this is one and this is the other one, actually the slip stitch that we worked, 1 and 1. It's very important to sew it like this because we'll have a nice shape. So just try to insert the hook into the slip stitch and into the slip stitch here. Okay, and go on like this. And here it is, my slouch beret ready. So It's really easy, it's really nice. I just want to tell you how long it is mine. Yes, it is 24 centimeters. It's from the border to here. So from the bottom to the upper part. And that's it. Hope you enjoy it. It's really easy, as you can see. And this is another hat worked with the Tunisian crochet in a very, very easy way. So see you at the next tutorial. Bye bye.